Namaste. Mandela Effected Community. So, I have to get this off my chest. And I know, first thing you're going to think, this kid's just watching too much YouTube videos. But, I have to respond real quick to, I have to vent on what it is if you say, unlikely, but you may be someone who doesn't experience the Mandela effect at all. And what it is to tell someone that they are wrong in their own memories. That's an attack. That's an attack that makes the individual not just seem lacking emotion, it's also an attack that highlights their very hypocrisy. Because when you're Mandela affected, stay strong and know that it is a true thing. And know that you are using logic to show it and verify it. So many people don't care to look at the fact that John F. Kennedy got shot in a 4-seater car. And yet there are museums in America where it's a 4-seater car. This isn't, and maybe I'm wrong because I myself haven't seen the museum with my own eyes, but video after video shows there's a museum, forget which state, look it up. I want to say Wyoming, I'm probably wrong. A museum in the United States that actually has 4-seater car, even though history says otherwise. So how is it logical to bypass that one? Right? Now, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's insignificant. Because it's significant. Cycles. A shout out to you, Jins Gems. Your video titled Controversial Comment spoke very much to the heart. Made me think of more Mandela Effect similarities that we all resonate with. And also has the unifying message. The unifying message. Apologies, I just woke up. The unifying message to think for yourself. A major Mandela Effect similarity. Think for yourself. One great thing that Jim said in her video, which resonated with me, was the fact that for her personally, when she was in school, especially the K through 12 schooling system, if I recall, please, I apologize if I'm wrong, she felt very much like a chameleon, using my words, a chameleon. As in blending in to all the social groups, like the high school kid that's able to get along with all the cliques. I just had a aha moment when I heard that, because it's true. From my perspective, Jims and myself are going through Mandela Effect. Are you, who Mandela affected, find that you are one who was always able to fit into any sort of crowd? I find for me that was always the case because I felt always alien to the aliens. That's us, the human race. It's a double whammy on the alien part, right? Because of feeling like from the beginning and the get-go that this was a front of some kind. There's so much more to it than it's being told. It was the Truman Show that was happening in my second grade mind before I even knew about the movie. And it sure as hell came out before I was in the second grade of 2002. And now I smoke. Oh my goodness, what happened to me? And if you're not Mandela affected and you're the person that says that all these are misplaced memories and you guys are crazy, even though you don't care to actually seek and look at what we're looking for. And if you don't see it, it does not matter. And guess what? If you said to me tomorrow you saw a flippin' hippopotamus up in the sky, right? Then in that scenario, I could relate to you non-Mandela affected people, because there would be something in my mind that says, you're full of shit. But what I'm gonna do is not turn around and say directly to you, no, you didn't see that. People, stop and think what that actually means. You're not all, you're infringing on someone else's existence in a way that's an insult, which really ultimately infringes on your existence as the critic, because it highlights hypocrisy to say we're not logical and then actually not pay attention to the logical conclusions that we're coming up with. Because I'm sorry, I want to be rational for real, not this indoctrination rationality that forgets emotional intellect. I'll give a quick example. And so, mostly for those, I'm sure most those who are actually watching this video are Mandela affected. So if you feel like someone's attacking you because you have to express it, just respond with this. In your own scenario in life, someone who is not Mandela affected telling you that what you have is just replaced memories, that's like a stranger who doesn't know me, or a friend, it doesn't matter who. It's like any other person other than myself telling me that I'm wrong on the memory of my high school sweetheart. I would say I met her on the first Thursday market of 2010, and her name was Isabella. That'd be someone coming up to me and being like, no, your first high school sweetheart, her name wasn't Isabella. It wasn't on 2010, it was in 2009. According to someone else writing it, that's why. And once again, full cycle, shout out to Jin's Gyms, because that was one thing she was saying, is that quoting her, don't allow the information to simply be spoon-fed to you. There was this a very popular YouTube channel, one of the main one rare one where I actually like something that is trendy, surprising, because some of them were interesting. The Bright Side. It's called The Bright Side of Life. They had this video. No, not the video. Yes, they had this video saying what life will be like in 2050, and they made transhumanism sound so fucking comfortable. And they they said around 20. I might be wrong on the date, but it's around 2026 or 2030s, somewhere around the late 2020s. The U.S. government's going to actually release all declassified information regarding JFK's assassination. And then the following sentence to this oh so intelligent commentator speaking, the documentary speaker, says, because people never accepted that Lee Harvey Oswald was the killer alone. Get a life, people. Get a life, people? Really? In one breath, you say there is declassified information that's going to be released by the U.S. government in the late 2020s of JFK's assassination. In the other breath, you say people who think that there was something more to the picture should just get to a life. You get a life? I mean, that reminds me of when I was in the 3rd grade and we were learning, our fooled and dumbed down version of American history. And the lady said that the creatures painted on caves that were the buffalo and stuff, the native tribes had this belief that if they prayed to the buffalo and if they made these paintings, that the buffalo would show up every spring and stuff. But we know nowadays that that's not really because of the rituals and stuff. They were being silly. We know because of science that it's because of the season and the migration and blah, blah, blah. Directly insulting the indigenous people, which I know, hey, we're gonna we're going to be doing that. That's the programming. That's the programming of America. And I say that with full love and compassion for this country. Not a patriot of the flag, definitely a patriot of the land, but nevertheless, the word patriot is divisive in itself, and not even really to the point. This whole nation to nation thing is childish, but I'm getting off topic here. One more thing. A similarity amongst us who are Mandela affected. You may find that at a young age you were told that you were a rebel in interesting ways. For me, it took place in 2006 when I was in the 6th grade. I was one child in a class of 32 children of 6th graders. There were 3 classes of 6th graders in the whole school. Marigold Elementary, Butte County, Chico, California. I'm naming it. And this school decided, because I was the only 6th grader in the whole school who did not vote for the school election, because I wasn't the popular kid, I was anything but, and I thought that it was full of shit, and that the people who were running were just popular kids, popularity contests, and if they got elected, they weren't going to have any true power anyways, which I find funny because, hey, you look at that nowadays, and what's really the difference? So because I was the only one that didn't vote, my class, out of all 3 of the elementary school classes, didn't get to have a pizza party. And the teacher made it very clear that my classroom didn't get a pizza party because of me not voting, and how irresponsible that was. 9/11 must have hit home a lot sharper back then in 2006. But for me, that is a good example of the consequences to something as awakening as the Mandela effect. Yes, it shook me up. Yes, in many ways, it's not trauma in a way that most would think, but it's still traumatic because it's something I will take to my grave. But at the same time, it's alchemy, baby. I take that and I turned it. I knew for a fact, 111% after that day, that I was going to be this rebel. It made me really highlight and recognize and see the social matrix that we have lived and breathed since we've been here. And that social matrix labeling me as the outsider when I was in the 6th grade. Because I was actually thinking for myself and thinking that there was no reason for this school election. The only reason they were really doing it is to implant the seed of indoctrination, saying, oh yeah, let's go ahead and vote mindlessly, without recognizing how the power has been unconsciously consented away from us, and without recognizing how it's American politics has been reduced to this external spectator sport, which is perfect, right? Look at NFL and look at all the major sports. It's very tribalistic, and what are the political teams but just another fucking football team? And where am I going with this? I don't know. Much love. I feel like I should. I don't think I should apologize, but I'm keeping with the love and not trying to get angry, not trying to express anger, just venting. I'm just venting, because I've come to a point where I am done putting up with people's crap. Ever notice in the Mandela affected people, any of you suffering from nice-itis? I have. I've always suffered from nice-itis. That's why I like identifying with information from the Pleiades, is because a lot of their behavioral characteristics, incarnation of a human, I can definitely empathize to, and that one of those being too nice and wanting to please people all the freaking time and stuff, and then doing it at my own expense. But I haven't been able to do that lately. Why? Because it has a physiological attack, and because Pandora's box for me is way too open for me to stop at this point, and the momentum is gaining. And if you're watching this video, you are Mandela affected, you know what I am talking about. If you are watching this video and you have a genuine open mind and you aren't Mandela affected, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like at this point, whether you're Mandela affected this way or that way, it really is insignificant. Another great thing that Jen's Jims brought up in her video was simply that. Just because you don't see all the Mandela effects that the other people see does not mean that you are really not Mandela affected. And there's a high camp of Mandela affected individuals who are focusing so much on the effect, and consuming that so much. There's a fixation on just the effect without looking beyond it and seeing what the effect actually means. And we have to progress. We have to progress. We have to really take it to the next level. Right. So I'm just venting. I'm not having the best morning. It's in contrast to my morning yesterday, which was wonderful, and that's perfectly okay, because the pendulum is in continuous swing, folks. It's not about necessarily getting too excited when things are going for you, and it's never about getting too upset when things aren't going for you. It's about being as neutral as possible. Neutrality in midst of the tides, rising and falling. All things that rise must fall. All things have poles. All things have their opposites. So, thank you if you're still listening. Namaste, much love. Thank you for letting me vent. Remember, don't let anyone tell you what your reality is, because that is a childish way of them not confronting their reality. Peace.